am Dr. Danny Radwin, bringing you Ready Vet Go, the podcast. I'm so excited today. We have a veterinary student, Amber Alalam. I'm just like, I feel like I know you because you're on social media, and that's kind of a weird thing. We don't actually know each other. We just met IRL like a few minutes ago. And so welcome, Amber. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here. I have so many things to ask you.
I'm ready.
I cannot wait to learn more about you.
Can't wait.
Okay, I learned about 4 seconds ago that you're from Florida.
I am.
And we are here together in Southern California. You go to Western University for vet school. You're a fourth year?
Third year.
Third year. Okay, tell me about your journey. How did you end up here? Just how did you get here?
So I've been in the vet and med industry for like 13-ish, 15-ish years now, somewhere around there. I've done a little bit of everything. Started off as a kennel tech, worked my way up to being even a practice manager. Really have just loved the entire industry. And applied to vet school and ended up coming here because I got in.
So did you apply to multiple schools and Western is where you got in?
Western is where I got in.
Was that on your first cycle?
No, it was on my second cycle.
I just like to ask that. I like to know
That's
more.
okay.
I did not get in on my first cycle either. I would have gone wherever accepted me. I applied to all the schools, the first year and the second year. Was this the plan? You said you held all the positions, starting with kennel tech, which I think is a common story among a lot of us who are in vet med, all the way up to practice manager. Was the goal veterinary school all the time, or was there some point where you were like, this is it?
So the goal was always vet school, but after, not getting in and whatnot, it was like, oh man, maybe I am not cut out for that. Maybe it is just being a technician was going to be my role. I got my master's degree and then ended up reapplying and got into Western. So it was really nice to be able to kind of fulfill that dream, and now I'm living the dream.
Here you are.
It's great.
Okay, what was your master's in?
Veterinary medicine. I got it through the University of Florida and did their shelter med program.
So you can go to University of Florida, get a master's in veterinary medicine.
It's online, so it's even easier.
Okay. My mind is blown.
I know.
What do people do with that degree?
So a lot of people go directly and go into shelter work with it.
So it's very shelter focused?
It's very shelter focused, very fear-free, and like the whole function around that and how that equates to patient longevity and making sure that they are getting out of shelters quicker and that when they are sick, how stress affects that. It's really cool.
I love that. But you did that with the goal of boosting up your resume to get into veterinary school?
Yeah. So when I graduated undergrad, like any normal college student, my GPA was not the best, so I wanted to make myself stand out a little bit more. So I did want to try to get that master's and kind of set myself apart.
And do you feel it helped you just get into vet school, or has it helped you, or how has it affected you as a veterinary student?
So I'm really interested in veterinary behavior. So for me, shelter medicine and fear-free and low-stress handling was kind of right up my alley.
Thank God for you. I don't want anything to do with that.
So for me, that has helped me in that regard of, making sure that I am a good advocate for my patients.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
How has vet school been?
It's been a journey.
Tell me about it.
So third and fourth year at Western, we do our rotations, right? So I've started my clinical rotations, my first one being surgery.
Is it all of third and fourth year's clinical rotations? So years 1 and 2 is more didactic learning,
kind of
problem-based learning.
Yeah, it's PBL, so problem-based learning. So it's not super lecture-based.
Yeah,
it's the best way to describe it to prospective students or anybody I really talk to is like an episode of House or Grey's Anatomy, where they kind of present a case to you and you have to kind of figure out what's happening. And for me, that was like a whole new way of learning, and it clicked. And it was fantastic to be able to learn that way. They do have supplemental lectures that you can go to, but it's not as lecture-based. You're not sitting in lectures for 5-6 hours a day.
But you didn't choose that. You went, like you said, because you got in.
Yeah, exactly.
But are you glad now that you went to a PBL-based school?
Oh, yeah. I could not be happier. Like, it has definitely helped my learning and retention, which makes it very nice while now I'm in clinics to be able to recall information and recall different things from these cases that we've done. It's really cool.
So where are you now? Like, what kind of clinics have you gone through? How does that work? Do you choose the clinics that you're going to go to? Is it species-based? Or tell me more about that.
Yeah, so the way it works is there's a list of different places you can go, and then you put a preference sheet out, essentially, and then Western does something with their computer system where they get you a whole chart of where you're going. So for me right now, I'm on my surgery rotation. Okay. So for that, we go to a shelter and we go and do spays and neuters and get these kiddos adopted, which is super, super fulfilling as well.
Oh, do you love that?
Oh, I love it. It's been great.
And you've been doing the spays and neuters?
Yes.
And how are you feeling?
Getting more confident as it goes. It's really great. We have a really great preceptor there who's a Western faculty member, and he has just kind of really, he takes the bull by the horns, but he makes it a great learning environment where you're not scared. So it's really nice to...
Okay, how does that happen? Because I work with a ton of new grads and early career vets, and there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear about so many things, but surgery and messing up and making mistakes, it's a big part of that first year experience. And I think it prevents a lot of people from taking risks and tackling challenges head on. Yeah. And it sounds like you're working with somebody who's kind of changing that a little bit.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
So why? What does he do?
He makes it fun. He doesn't make it a scary thing. And if you mess up, you're not getting reprimanded. Yeah. He just kind of goes, all right, well, let me backtrack. Let's talk about it. What can go better? What happened and how we can move forward. Yeah. And we just have that open dialogue. But the best thing is he lets us do what we're comfortable with and is there if we have questions. So he's not watching over us 24/7 where he's just staring at you doing surgery where your hands are shaking and everybody's freaking out. Yes. He goes, do your thing. I'll come check in periodically. He's sitting there the whole time watching us, but he's not overview staring at you doing it, which I think lets us relax as students a little bit too. Because we've been practicing for this, but we've been using, balloons, which is very different from a live patient. So to have him there who's kind of like a cheerleader and making it a fun thing and not a scary thing. And then also you have other classmates there who are the same classmates that we've had this whole time.
So you're going with a group of other Western students?
Mm-hmm. There's probably around 6 or 7 of us per group that go. And each of us has a role during the surgery, whether you're a primary surgeon, assistant, or an anesthetist. Yeah. So they just kind of are there to kind of help and guide you the whole time as well.
Yeah. What a gift.
It's really great.
Is this a required rotation?
Mm-hmm. All of our third-year ones are required. You have to do all the ones that they have us do. Fourth year, there's 2 required ones, and then you kind of track but not track, so you can kind of do whatever you want as far as that goes, where you have a little bit more leeway.
Okay, so a year from now, you will be going to places that you choose. Yes. And this year will be places that the school has selected for you, like these are essential for you. Yep. And are they like cross species?
Yeah. So my next rotation after I leave surgery, I'm doing zoo animal. Okay. So I go to a zoo, and then I do lab animal after that. And then we have like livestock, we have equine, small animal, which is emergency, and GP. Which is really nice.
It sounds like what a lot of students get when they're in a traditional teaching hospital, but they're recreating that for you in actual shelters or working small animal or large animal practices.
Which I kind of like. I like it's a double-edged sword, right? Because we have a teaching hospital, but we also don't. It's like it's a GP. So we don't have this huge teaching hospital that other vet schools have where they go and do all their rotations there because they have different departments. So being able to go out into practice and deal with actual clients, I think, is a benefit to the students as well. Yeah. Because a lot of my classmates and other people don't have a ton of experience with actually working in clinics. So you can be very book smart, but you also have to have that street smart and be able to actually communicate with people.
Yes. So. And do you feel like, have you heard from other Western graduates that you guys have like a particular ability to connect with clients or have a certain kind of street smart?
I have. I mean, I've talked to a couple people that have graduated, and then I've also talked to other folks that have worked with Western grads, and they tend to be somewhat impressed with how they're able to communicate and how they're kind of more on the ball with getting a correct diagnosis, getting a treatment plan together, and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think this is a real challenge. One thing that I do as part of my continuing education that I offer for new grads in the Ready Vet Go mentorship program, which has evolved from the mentorship program into this whole community where we offer continuing education, is we're moving into this space where we're offering CE that is by GPs and for GPs. I hear a lot from new grads who are in school and they're practicing in a teaching hospital and they're seeing all these tertiary referral cases. Yeah. So they're really good at, working up a portosystemic shunt or an Addisonian and thinking these are the kind of cases that I'm going to see every day. That's not actual day-to-day reality of general practice. And so I wonder if you feel like this type of learning and teaching environment is going to prepare you differently for going out and being into practice.
Yeah, the other really cool thing that Western does, and this is not an ad for Western, but they have us start in the clinic like our very first week of school as a first-year student, where you're going in there as a student doctor, but you're dealing with the client one-on-one. You're talking to them about the treatment plans. You're doing the treatment, you know? So I think that prepares you really early on for how you need to communicate. And we have a bunch of like communication classes and our OSCEs and stuff like that. But I think that, you know, being on the front lines per se, you're able to actually get that experience. And that's something that's invaluable. Like everybody needs to be doing that.
Yes, I think it's so important. Yeah. Okay, so this might be a weird thing to bring up, but like when you walked in today, I said, I've never met you in real life, and I feel like I know you because I follow you on social media, and I love the content that you put out.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And I wonder, like, okay, why are you doing that?
Is
that a fair thing to ask? We don't know each other, and I didn't ask you what is on limits or off limits, but I'm always curious, like,
nothing off limits. You're good.
Good. What draws you to do that? You like. Being a vet student is so hard. I did nothing other than be a vet student. And you're like on social media, you're coming out and being on this podcast, you're like crushing it in the clinic. Like, what? Like, okay, what and also why?
Yeah, so it started, I don't know, like 5 years ago maybe now. We'll say 5-6 years ago. As a joke. I mean, it was just, I was just posting stupid videos just for the hell of it, you know? Why not? And then they took off. And then I started getting more and more followers, and it became just like a fun thing to do. And then I was like, oh, I could do something with this where it transitions from just like funny jokes about your pets because everybody likes that, you know, to now I can actually make this an educational thing for pet parents and vet med individuals. And the really cool thing about the whole vet school journey is I'm able to document that for not only myself, but for other people who want to go through it. Because I know when I was applying to school, I was like, what is this like? Like, what is this ominous vet school life like? And to be able to be that person for somebody else is super nice.
I love that. So is there like a story or something you can think about where you learned like, oh my gosh, like I'm that person for somebody else? Did someone reach out to you or connect with you on social media?
Yeah. I actually, the most recent class that just went to Western, I worked their white coat ceremony, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
So I had one of their students actually emailed me because I have my email on all my social media. They emailed me and they're like, hey, I thought I recognized you at White Coat. Just wanted to say thank you. Your videos have helped me and prepared me and calmed me down so much. I was so scared. I made a video about like how in debt I was and how vet school is very expensive and all these things. And it was more like if you really want to do this, that shouldn't deter you, you know, kind of video. And she was like, I was really scared about the money. You kind of helped ease those worries. And I was like, that was really sweet. I've had, you know, multiple students have reached out to me asking for advice, asking for what schools, like what they can expect and stuff like that. So it's crazy too, because I'm like, who am I? I'm just some random kid from Florida. Like, so it is nice, but it's also a little surreal because I don't think of myself as like this influencer who like I just make stupid videos. You're
like a regular person.
Yeah, and it sounds ridiculous because I'm just like, oh, I'm just a regular person. I'm just like everybody else, but that's the truth. I think not myself, but other people have also been inspired to like make other videos. So I see a lot of new vet students making TikTok accounts and like documenting their journey, and it's fantastic. And I think more people should be doing it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's how I spend my time now. I'm watching all these new students.
It's great.
I mean, I did not explore TikTok until quite recently, and now I'm like, it feels like a small community, even though it's such a big space. It feels like it brings people together.
It really does.
I love community. I love connecting with people in the veterinary space. That is like what fuels me. It's totally my why. I love people. And I especially love people in the veterinary field.
Of course.
And it feels like this way to kind of bring people together. And it can be very isolating to go through this journey on your own.
It's scary. I mean, it's a lot. Vet school is by no means like an easy feat.
No.
I like to say if it was easy, everybody would do it. You know, but it's difficult, but not impossible. Is the other way that I like to describe it. But it definitely, you have a family when you're in school with your cohort. But having like the social media and everybody, like you understand that other people are cheering you on as you're doing it, which is really nice.
So you did it kind of just for fun?
Just for the hell of it,
And then it's turned into
this thing. I've met some amazing people, you included, of course,
Yeah.
but like going to VMX or
Yeah.
any other conference, you know, you're surrounded by all these people who
Yeah.
know you by looking at you through a phone.
Right.
And then
So
you see them in
strange.
real life and it's like, oh, these are real people.
They're real people.
That's crazy.
Yes.
So it's really nice to have that kind of sense of community as well.
Oh, I feel the same way.
Yeah, that's great.
So you kind of alluded to finances. So let's go there.
Let's do it.
This is very expensive.
It is.
And you're incurring a lot of debt.
Every
Can you talk about that?
Yeah.
How does it affect you? What's your plan for that?
Whew. All right. So I think right now, let's see. I think right now I'm probably at around $350,000. And that's just vet school debt. That's not undergrad. That's just vet school.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's a lot. And I think the best way that I think about it is I just don't right now.
Yeah.
My idea is money's going to always be made.
Yeah.
Your experiences and your education are worth it.
Yep.
And money can be made.
Yep.
Do I think that this is going to be a thing that I'm going to be able to pay off in 5 seconds? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, but this
Yeah.
is my career. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this because I want to help animals and I
Yeah.
want to make a difference in pet parents' lives.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't a financial gain for me.
Yeah.
So I think that things need to be done so that schools can be a little bit cheaper. I don't think they need to be as expensive as they are. And with the incurred debt, it scares a lot of people away.
Yeah.
And not to get all political, but with different things that are happening with certain bills, it is also going to limit how many students are able to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, people aren't going to be able to take out the kind of loans
they
that
can't.
you've taken out. Not with the new bill.
They can't. And that's sad because that limits how many people are going to become vets.
Yeah.
And it also increases the workload for those of us that are going to be vets, you know, in the field.
Yeah.
It's kind of a double-edged sword there.
Did you know that going into this? Like, did you think, like, I want to be a vet no matter what, and then learned about the costs?
I had an idea about the cost.
Yeah.
I think that I definitely underestimated the cost.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I would be, you know, almost $500,000 in debt at 30 years old. But you know what? It is what it is.
Here we are.
Exactly. we have to laugh through the pain, right? I don't think that it should ever deter somebody from going, though.
I still would say,
without
do
a doubt,
this.
100%, every single time.
I mean, I agree with you.
It's a
the
great
best
industry.
profession
It really is.
ever.
And I don't say that lightly. I really do enjoy what I do, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I think that money, like I said, money comes and goes, and you're going to make the money. It's fine. Everything is going to work itself out.
Yeah.
You just might be in debt a little bit longer.
Right.
It's okay.
Might it be influencing what you are thinking about for your first job?
I mean, I'm sure that kind of will go into it. So I think the other thing is, like, if you do want to specialize in something, then you have to think of, okay, well, that's another couple years down the road where you're not going to be getting, you know, full doctor salary, right? So I definitely think that plays a role with people who want to go into livestock, with people who want to go into zoo med and things like this, where you're not getting a bunch of money, right? Again, people are not in it for the money mostly, but like it does play a role. So I think that negotiating is going to also be a little interesting to do, just because you do have a debt to income ratio that you do have to think about.
That's right. So are you hearing, like, are you talking to classmates and friends who are thinking of going into food animal or zoo, and how are they navigating that? Because presumably they have similar debt loads that you do.
Yeah.
And they're not going to make the same going into wildlife or zoo or food animal as somebody who goes and takes a high-paying job in, like, a small animal practice.
Yeah, I mean, they're also concerned. You know, interesting thing about my class is that I have a lot of folks who are interested in exotics and who are interested in equine. So,
which we need.
Exactly. No, it's fantastic.
We need it.
So it's refreshing for the industry, but for them, they're like, I don't know how I'm going to afford this.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are talking about doing, like, nonprofit things to try to get some government aid and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's still a substantial amount of money that we're all in debt. Yeah.
Yeah. But you sound very confident. Like, you're happy you made this choice and you know that this is part of it and the money is going to come.
I think that's the best outlook you can have, because if I sit here and I think about every single dollar of every second that I'm getting more and more in debt, you're not going to get out of that.
No, and what good is that going to serve you as you head out into your clinical years?
And I think that it kind of changes the kind of vet that you would be.
Like how?
Because,
say more about that.
Yeah, so, I mean, most vets are getting a job on pro-sal, right?
Yeah.
I think that kind of will influence a little bit about how you are presenting things to clients if you're so focused on the money. And I'd rather be focused on the medicine. Like I said, if you're focused on the medicine, the money will come.
Totally.
And so instead of harping on every single dollar that you need to make at every single hospital, just focus on making sure the patient is getting the best care possible that the owner can afford.
And is that part of the curriculum that you're learning in school right now, or is that like an Amber thing?
Maybe a little bit of both. I think that we talk a lot about gold standard medicine and what that means, whether it's gold standard for the client or gold standard for the pet. So gold standard for the client is something that they can afford while making sure the pet is good. And gold standard for the pet is every single thing that we could ever do to this pet to make it perfect in an ideal world. I know that I am more lenient when it comes to giving things for free to clients. You know, I've worked at other hospitals where they charge for like using the cysto, like using an ultrasound to do the cysto and then actually collecting the cysto. Like, well, it's just not like, it's not their fault that we had to do it like this. So I'm a little bit more lenient because I've been on the side of it where, you know, not working in vet med or going to a different hospital that you don't get your, you know, vet med discount. It's expensive.
It's expensive.
I relate to these owners on like a major level. So
there's so many reasons why people don't choose gold standard medicine. I talk a lot about shared decision making. It's something I'm super passionate about. I don't know if they're talking about it at Western. It's a method that comes from the human side of teaching medical students to connect with their patients. And I speak a lot at the vet schools about how we can connect with our clients, talking about shared decision making. I personally feel like, you know, obviously we have a well-being concern in our profession. And what I hear from a lot of new grads and early career vets is we learn this gold standard medicine in school. And when we present that to our clients, if they don't choose that, I think personally that contributes to the well-being problem that we're having. Either our clients are, you know, shitty pet parents because they're not choosing the, quote, best medicine, or maybe I'm a bad veterinarian because I couldn't explain the value of it, or maybe my profession sucks because it's so expensive that our clients can't choose gold standard medicine. So I think it's creating this whole environment where it leads up to feeling bad about our clients not choosing the outcome that we think is best. And I like to kind of shift the perspective that best is really relative. You know, best is like what you were talking about. There's the client to consider. There's the patient to consider. There's evidence-based medicine and the veterinarian. And so best is not one thing. And it's not necessarily gold standard medicine. And I love this idea of kind of like moving away from that so that we can change the perception, which I think has a trickle-down positive effect on well-being. And it sounds like you kind of feel the same way.
Absolutely.
Is that something that's being talked about in school?
I think it's more compassion. Where it's not, we have to take the client for what they're giving us right now. You know, we don't know what's happening outside of this.
We have no idea.
Exam room.
It's not our
exactly, and it's not our pet. Unfortunately,
no, of course
it's our patient. But I think that you can have compassion for the pet while also understanding, hey, they're not going to do a CT right now. Like, it's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
And you need to be okay with that as the practitioner, you know, and understand that there's a line here and we need to figure out how to kind of mend that gap. So I think that it's more listening to the client and then kind of doing reflective listening. They definitely do a lot of communication lectures. Which is great. Again, I think
so
that good. I think that it's also something that can't necessarily be taught, though. I think you have to do it in practice, and I think you have to have those screw-ups where you kind of say the wrong thing and you're like, that's not the best way I could have said that, but
if I could have done that a little differently.
Exactly. But you learn from it, right?
You have to.
And you learn how to present estimates, and you learn the importance of going over things in detail and not overwhelming a client and going, so we're going to go do an estimate for da-da-da-da-da-da, and they're like, what's that? You have to explain it. And I think once you get like a nice little spiel down for everything you want to say, it flows better. You seem more confident. The client understands that you're confident, and they see the value in the things that you want to do, and they're more willing to do it.
You just honed in on so many important things around confidence and value. and presenting something in a way that clients can perceive the value.
Yeah.
And that takes practice.
Yeah.
You know, so many schools now have these like communication labs that people participate in. And I can't tell you how many people come to the Ready Vet Go mentorship program after a year of being out in practice and saying like, I should have taken more advantage of that communication lab, but instead all I want to do is focus on passing NAVLE.
Yep.
You know, so you're not focusing on communication.
Exactly.
When you know you have this licensing exam, you have to get into practice and put it into, you know, engaging with your clients and making mistakes, being in an environment where there's a psychologically safe space where you can make those mistakes and learn from them. It's such an important part of growing as a clinician. Yeah. You can't learn everything in school.
That's the really interesting thing is like I feel like a lot of people are very book smart, but street smarts don't come as natural.
That's right.
And I'm the complete opposite. I made a video about it the other day, and I was like, you know, academic validation is so weird. And I was like, I'm not even good at school. Who's being validated? It's not me.
It's not you.
I was like, I don't feel validated right now. But I was
I can't relate to that at all.
I was like, I will always be more street smart than I will ever be book smart. And I think that just comes from practice. I'm super outgoing. I love talking to people. And being able to strike up a conversation with anybody is truly something that I love about myself. Yeah. Because it's easy. You know, I can talk to a client while I'm doing something with their pet. Yeah. And now the client's a little bit more relaxed. And because they're more relaxed, the pet's also more relaxed because the owner's not freaking out. Yeah. And we're great. Yeah. And it makes a better experience for everyone.
Yeah. What do you say to people who go into vet med and don't have that naturally? Because there's so many people who are so deeply empathetic and very, very smart and are going to make amazing veterinarians, but don't have that natural, innate kind of outgoingness that you said, that ability to connect with people in a way that feels really natural and easy. Yeah. Do you have things that you have identified along your career journey, getting your master's and, you know, being at this, you know, kind of a different like style of a teaching hospital, like ways that you think people who don't have that natural amber ability could connect with clients or embody some of that where it doesn't come so naturally to them?
Yeah, I think you meet clients where they're at, right? Yeah. So I think that we'll say like an emergency situation, right? Heightened emotions, very scary moment. And I think that there is a time when you can let a little bit more empathy show. And then there's times when you need to reel it back a little bit and have a little bit more professionalism.
Okay, wait, stop.
I'm ready.
What does that look like? What words do you say that show your client that you're expressing empathy to them? And that's like, I could be putting you on the hot seat and that could be super vulnerable, but I get asked from my mentees all the time, like, okay, we hear what you say, express empathy, blah, blah, blah. What exact words do you say? I tell people steal phrases, take words, and then embody what feels authentic to you. Yeah. Because no one's going to speak like me or like you, but they could take things that you say and make them their own. Yeah. What
So some of the things I really like to talk to clients about when they're a little bit stressed or I can tell that they're a little bit uneasy is I start talking to them about their pet. Have you had them since they were a puppy? Yeah. Oh my goodness, they must have been a rambunctious pup, you know? And they kind of, that just opens kind of floodgates sometimes and it lets them kind of keep talking.
I love that.
And then you just seem genuinely interested. Yes. So like, especially like I've been in euthanasias before where these families are bawling. Yeah. And we're in there like placing a catheter, doing what we need to do. And we start talking about, you know, how rambunctious this pup was. And now instead of everybody crying, everybody's laughing. Yeah. You know, and it's made this like very scary moment not as scary.
Oh, what a gift.
Oh, it's great. And I think that it's just talking. Just get them talking about anything. Yeah. Or if there's kids in the room, you know, getting the kids a little bit more distracted so mom and dad don't need to worry about it. You know, talking to them about, I'm really sorry. Like, what do you need right now? In a non-therapy way.
Yeah, but just like a genuine how can I help way.
You? Yeah.
What do you need? How can I help you?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So I think that's really nice. And then it's a fine line, though, because you can't, I think that if we went into every euthanasia and we cried with every single client, we would be wrecks every single time. We would. And that is one thing that I think people who are not in vet med don't understand, where they're like, oh, I can never, that's the sentence everybody says, I can never do what you do. I can never go through in euthanasia. Yeah. It's like, we don't want to do this either. This isn't
Every
fun.
vet feels some kind of way when someone says that to us.
Yeah, it's like, this isn't fun for us either, but you do have to maintain a level of professionalism. You know, if I went in there and I cried every single time, I wouldn't be able to do my job. Right. You know, and there is a fine line between supporting your clients and making sure that you're able to get the job done.
That's right.
And I think that it's really important.
It is important. Also, it's okay to cry sometimes.
It is, 100%. I have been there crying with clients multiple times.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Multiple times. And sometimes you
have to. And it comes, I mean, sometimes you can't even stop it and it's okay. I think that that shows a little bit more human side of things. Yeah. And it kind of, especially like in GP where you've kind of grown with that client, you've grown with that patient. Yeah. It's okay.
And for me, it's not just growing with the patient, it's growing with the kids and the family.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God. If I meet a puppy and the toddler, and then the toddler is flying home from college for the youth, I can't. I'm done. I'm done. It's too much. Yeah. But it's also what fuels me. It's why, you know, I like to work in a place for a really long time. You know, I've been in practice for over 20 years and I've done a ton of relief at emergency. So I love that. But I've really only had 2 full-time jobs, one for 8 years and one for 13 years. That's it. I like to be that's it. That and all the other millions of things that I've done. But like full-time, long positions, 8 years in Southern California, 13 years in Northern California at the practice where I'm still working 2 days a week. And that's part of the joy that I get is like being with families as, you know, the kids grow and like the grandparents come in. I understand that is not for everybody. And you don't have to do that to really connect with clients. You can connect with clients on a relief emergency shift where you're going to see them once. You know, I mean, there's like tools and skills that we have to be able to connect with people to help them like guide through them some big decisions that they're going to be making for their pets.
I think it's important to make a lasting impression. I think that you only get one first impression. Yeah. And you got to make it count every single time.
Why is that important?
I mean, because you have to put your best foot forward every single time. I think that changes everybody's dynamic and it changes how the appointment is going to go or how even just meeting people on the street is going to go. Yeah. You know, if I come up to you and I'm all aggressive, when you just came out there to say hi, I was like, what's up? How's it going? Like, you would have been like, I don't know that I want to do this podcast right now. Like, come on. Yeah. Fame went to her head or something. But it's not what it was, you know? No. And I think that changes it because now we have that better interaction. Yeah. And it changes everything. Yeah. It's really important.
It is important. And I feel like ultimately, you know, if you walk into an exam room and you put your best foot forward and you have that really kind, like open environment and authenticity and you're going to connect with the client, you guys are, you know, you and the pet parent or the pet owner are there in service of your patient.
Exactly.
And it's ultimately going to lead to what a lot of us are going to veterinary medicine for in the first place, which is patient care.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what is in store for you? You have a really interesting background. Yeah. I love that you have so much experience. I think it's really helped with your communication and your authenticity and ability like to connect with clients, which is so important. Yeah. I think that evidence-based medicine and learning all of these things in veterinary school is sort of like the baseline minimum. Yeah. You know, it's like everything else is sort of a cherry on top, and you have that. Where are you going to go with that? You just started your first of 2 clinical years, it sounds like. Do you have a feeling for what's coming after that?
So, like I said, I love behavior. I love veterinary behavior. Again, going back to the finance conversation, specializing in veterinary behavior is another couple years down the road. Yeah. It's like, do I really want to spend more time in school?
Do you?
I just... I'm still on the fence. I do, but I don't. I do, but I don't. It changes every day, right? Yeah. I also have a really big passion for urgent care and emergency medicine. Yeah. So that's that. I've been in urgent care for the last several years, and I really enjoy it.
How so? Like while you're in school, you're also working?
So summer breaks, I'll go home and I'll work at urgent care hospitals that I've worked at previously. Okay. But prior to vet school, I was working at urgent cares. I was lead tech there. I was a practice manager, all that fun stuff. And I love it. Yeah. I loved the company that I was with. I loved the organization. I loved how everything flowed. Yeah. And it was a really great experience, and it made me go, oh, I could do this as a doctor. Like, this would be really fun. But that's why it's great that I'm talking to you. Yeah. The mentorship is super important for me. Yeah. And I think as a first-year vet, I want to make sure that that's something that I can get wherever I go. Mm-hmm. Because even though I have all this experience, it's still very daunting to go from being the technician and getting told what to do to being like, all right, so where's the vet? And it's like, oh, I am the vet.
You are the doctor.
Like, oh, wait a minute.
It's so scary.
Like, Clavamox? Like, I don't
know.
So, yeah, I think that having mentorship to make sure that I'm not going to sink and, you know, be able to float and build myself into the kind of veterinarian that I know I can be is super important for me.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that is near and dear to my heart.
Yes.
You know, and after many years of being in clinical practice, I've found myself as the founder of a remote mentorship program. I love working with new grads. It's where my heart is. Mentorship is a very hot button issue right now.
It is.
Everybody's talking about it. It's like the number one feature that new grads are saying they're looking for in a job. Yeah. When new veterinarians leave their first job in under a year, they're saying the reason they're leaving is because of lack of mentorship. And then I hear from practice owners, well, I was providing mentorship. I was always available for the new grad to call me. I was there to talk about cases. And the new grad is saying, that's not really what I needed. And so there's this kind of mentor-mentee disconnect. And I feel like we don't have a really unified definition of mentorship. We know it's important. New grads are talking about it. Practices are putting it in every single job ad. What does it really mean? What does it mean to you? And what does it mean to your classmates? Are you guys talking about this in veterinary school? What is the discussion around mentorship?
So for me personally, something that I would want out of a mentorship is I want a vet who is going to let me kind of spread my wings a little bit, but also be there to guide and be someone who's like, okay, great idea, fantastic, but let's do this instead. Or here's why I would have done X, Y, and Z instead.
Yeah.
Or that's great, but how could we add upon that?
Yeah.
You know, I want somebody who's going to be a cheerleader, but also let me stumble, but don't let me fall.
Yeah.
Is super important for me. And then also make me confident. Make sure that I feel as confident because, you know, I have a big head. It'll go to my head eventually. And I want to make sure that I am able to provide my clients with the best medicine possible and make sure that animals are staying with their owners as long as possible. So that is something super important for me. For my other classmates, obviously I can't speak to all of them, but I think that they want similar things. I don't think that we want to be handheld. I think that we want to be able to do our own thing, but have somebody kind of put up some bumpers sometimes. Be like, no, let's try this instead. No, let's try this instead.
Yeah. I love that language that you use around let's try this instead. I love the language around being a cheerleader. I talk about it a lot. Sometimes I'm being told that maybe that's a little bit too cheesy or it's not specific enough.
Yeah.
I think being a cheerleader is extremely important. I think part of our job as mentors is to boost the confidence of new vets.
Yeah.
You guys are graduating with more current information than I have. And you have that medical knowledge. And it's up to me in the role that I sit in as a veterinary mentor to boost that confidence and to be a cheerleader for you. I don't know if you know Dr. Gary Marshall, the vice president of the AVMA.
Love Gary. Shout out Gary.
Amazing. He was telling me a story. He's in Washington, and when he owned his practice, it was a feline practice. And he used to have a lot of Washington State externs who would come through fourth year. And he had a fourth-year veterinary student come through and scrubbed in with him for some kind of a surgery. And he asked her, what suture would you choose and what suture pattern would you pick for this case?
Yeah.
And she chose something that was nowhere near what he ever used, either the suture material or the suture pattern. And he said, let's talk about it. And he couldn't find any reason why that was contraindicated. And he said, let's try it. I can't think of any reason not to do that. And let's try that. And everybody loves Gary. And this is one of the reasons that I think he's an amazing mentor is because we don't want to create mentees who are like mini-me's.
Exactly.
You know, we want to empower you to take the knowledge that you have and grow that into being a confident clinician.
Exactly.
And it was a very skilled way, I think, of boosting that confidence, being a cheerleader. How empowering for that fourth-year vet student to think, yeah, like I just taught somebody something new.
Exactly.
And we're going to do that.
You have to let us think for ourselves a little bit.
Yes.
And I think that some people go into a new practice and they're like, I don't want to think for myself. Just give me the cookie cutter, tell me exactly what I need to do. And then there's other people who are like, no, I have these ideas. I have these things that I want to try. How do we get there?
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
I'm super excited.
I want to hone in on some language that you use, which is we don't want our hands held.
Yes.
When I am talking to practice owners and I'm saying the Ready Vet Go mentorship program exists for you as a way to help support the new grads that you're bringing on in practice, and I have practice owners say, I would never hire a new grad. They just want their hands held. And my stomach hurts because that is not how I think of you guys. I think of like you cannot get into and through veterinary school because you want your hands held.
Exactly.
You are not lazy. You are hardworking. And yet there is a little bit of this narrative. And I see a little bit where it comes from, but I don't buy into it. What do you say to that?
I think that it's outdated. I think that getting a handheld and like walking through an average day in a hospital is not going to do a single thing for any of us. You know, even when I did externships over the summer.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't need a history taking lesson. I don't need to know how to talk to I already know how to do these things. Here's things I'm struggling with. Here's what I would like help with. Yeah. And I think having that open dialogue is so important, because if I walk into a hospital and you don't know what my background is, you don't know what my experience is, you don't know what my interests are. Yeah. Of course you're going to start at ground zero. And you're going to be like, all right, so good morning. We're going to go talk to a client. A client is a person who comes in with their pet. And like, it's like, okay, I get that. And it's important to have basics, but I think talking and having an open dialogue is so much more important, so that you know what we need help with and what our questions, concerns, fears are. Yeah. But no, I don't think that we need to be walked through an average day.
I agree.
Yeah.
What do you say to your peers who are third, fourth year, getting ready to go into their clinical externships or rotations, or even starting off as a new grad, and they don't have a practice owner or mentor in the clinic who is asking those questions of curiosity? I personally feel like, as the mentee or the new associate or the extern, you can be the one to create that kind of dialogue.
Absolutely.
Have you been in a situation like that where you've had to let the person know, like, this is what my interests are, this is what my background is? Yeah. And if so, like, what kind of language do you use and how do you do that? I mean, these are people in a position of seniority and authority, and like, how do you navigate that challenging relationship?
So, I mean, conflict is never an easy conversation to have, right? Yeah. And it's not even a conflict, but like standing up for yourself in a way where you're making sure you're getting what you want to get out of it is hard. Yeah. So I think that honesty is always the best policy. Yeah. And backing up my things. Like, I understand if I come in and I say, I can do a cat neuter in 8 minutes, you're like, yeah, sure you can. Go ahead. Yeah. You want to see. You want to back it up, right? Yeah. So I think that saying, hey, I've done these things. I'm more than okay with you watching these things. I want you to watch these things. Make sure that I'm not doing anything crazy. Yeah. But this is not where my focuses are right now. This is what I feel confident in. I'm okay with this. This is where I really need help in, whatever it could be, you know, whether it's surgery, whether it's treatment plans, whatever it is. Yeah. Hey, I really need help here. And here's what I would like from my help. Here is how I like to receive feedback. Here is X, Y, and Z. I would like to talk about this many cases. I would like to, and you kind of make some kind of schedule. You kind of make sure that that dialogue is there. And I think that it's really important to have a mentor who wants to do that. Yeah. You know, if you have somebody who's just like, they could have called me. Right. It's like, no, I want somebody who wants to help. Yep. And I think that that's kind of hard to find. Yeah. And it's, when you do find it, it's like a unicorn, and it's very important, and you should hold on to it.
So it's finding that person who will be in that role for you, but also you really taking accountability for your own learning, growth, mentorship.
At the end of the day, I am responsible for the kind of practitioner that I'm going to be. Yeah. You know, it's not your job. It's not anybody else's job. It's my job. Yeah. And if I don't put just as much effort in, it's not your job to make me into a good doctor. Right. You know, it's the same thing that I've talked to other people about. At some point in time, you can't blame your vet school for you not passing the NAVLE. You know, you have to take the initiative, and you have to kind of put your best foot forward and study and pass the NAVLE.
Right. Right. Sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow and a hard thing to hear. Yeah. Do they have any type of training at Western for, like, being a proactive mentee? So the other Western is the Western College of Veterinary Medicine in Saskatchewan in Canada. And a few years ago, they had a mentee skills training course that they embedded into the curriculum. They started it with the incoming class of 2020. So I think it was the class who started in 2016. Got it. And over those 4 years, they had mentee skills training where they taught every year, embedded into the curriculum, a lot of what you're talking about, like how to engage with a mentor, how to take accountability for your own learning. And it was a way to kind of address this mentor-mentee disconnect. You know, the Canadian Veterinary Medical Association really wanted to address turnover of new grads in practice, and recognizing that mentorship was a key reason why new grads would leave their first job. And so they went to the vet school and they were like, hey, let's address this. And they tried to address it by training mentors. And the faculty at Western was really perceptive. And they were like, we've actually had a lot of training programs over the years to train mentors. we've never really done anything to train mentees.
Interesting.
And so they embedded this in the curriculum, and I loved it, and I've latched onto it. And we start off all of our Ready Vet Go mentorship programs with a mentee skills training. And I do hear that some of the schools are starting to incorporate some of that. Is that anything that has percolated its way into the West Coast U.S.
Not for
Western
my
school?
class. So not for my class personally. What other maybe clubs do, I can't really speak to if they have some folks come and chit chat with that. But we have not had courses that really focus on that, which I think would be super beneficial, especially in our 3rd and 4th year when we're in those clinics and we're starting to think about our first jobs, you know, as these practitioners.
Yeah. So the things that you're talking about, because those really are key components that they hone in on this course, are those things that you learned? Are they things you've picked up over the years? How did you come to embrace a lot of this stuff? Because many people don't have that innately. Is this something you learned? Where did this come from?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that it's, you know, getting the information where I know that I'm going to need help at some point. But not being afraid to ask for it is something that I have had my own journey with because like any other person, I'm very headstrong at times and I'm hyper independent at times. And I'm like, I can figure it out. I don't need help. But in this case, I don't want to ever put any of my patients at risk. I don't want to do something, even if it's the stupidest of things, I don't want to do something wrong. And I think that that's such a big fear for everybody in veterinary medicine is doing something wrong or, you know, God forbid, killing a patient. Right? And so that's a huge fear. How do I know that I'm prescribing the right medication? You know, who put me in charge? Like, what's happening here?
Who put me in charge?
Exactly. Who trusted me to become a doctor? Like, what's happening? So being able to advocate for myself and know what I need is something that I think I have had my own mental health journey with, and it's been beneficial for me. I don't know if other students in my class have that. But I know that those are fears that they have. Whether they are willing to speak up about it and actually, you know, do something about it is a completely different ballpark.
Yeah, it's such a hard thing. I feel like the fear is something that we face a lot. And as a mentor and working with so many new veterinarians, I feel like a lot of this narrative around, you know, new grads wanting their hands held or whatever the narrative is, it comes from this place of fear. And I work with a lot of mentors and I do a lot of mentor training. And one of the things that I have them do is share the worst mistake they ever made in practice. I see so much fear among new grads and they almost want to structure their professional lives in a way that they can avoid making certain mistakes.
You're going to make one.
You're going to make one.
And you just got to roll with it.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I think rather than structure our lives in a way that we can avoid making mistakes, it's like, why don't we recognize that we are going to make a mistake? And it might be so catastrophic that a patient might die. My mistake is one where a patient died. And I share that when I do trainings and I work with new grads. And I think it's very empowering for new veterinarians to hear, like, somebody in a position who loves their job, has been in this profession for a long time, is still out helping animals and their pet parents all day, every day, has made mistakes and gotten through them is super empowering because there is so much fear. And the fears that you guys have are different than the fears that I had 20 years ago. Yes, I was definitely afraid of making a catastrophic mistake. God forbid somebody died. I did not have to worry about online bullying. I did not have to worry so much about, I mean, the Veterinary Medical Board was always there, but I think the fear of complaints to the Veterinary Medical Board is a little bit more heightened. So the fears are a little bit different. And I think normalizing some of these fears and mistakes is a way to create this space of like psychological safety, which is a hot button topic, but letting people in your position as soon to be new grads and early career vets know that like you're going to make a mistake and it's okay. And there's a whole community of people here to uplift you and support you when that happens, and not structuring your life such that you
tiptoe around everything.
Tiptoe around it. Or do everything in your power to avoid making a mistake. It's going to happen.
I think you brought up a really good point about the online situation, right? It's so scary. You know, I have seen many people get like doxxed and have their place of business blown up because they did something wrong in the eyes of the pet parent, which it was medically appropriate, but they didn't like that answer, you know? There's been people, we've seen it on the news, people have been shot in veterinary hospitals over nothing, really. Like, truly. Veterinarians have killed themselves, and, you know, the suicide rate is insane because of things like this. And social media just amplifies that. Because, I mean, I saw one the other day, and it was like, oh, so-and-so hospital and so-and-so doctor's full name And it's like, oh my God, these poor people. And then hospitals have closed because people are picketing outside over random things. And it's so scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
And it's funny because when they're talking to us about different things to be afraid of at school, it's not as much that, it's getting sued or getting the board to go after you. And it's like, let's talk about the real things, because the social media realm, if you want to call it that, has just kind of been overtaken. Everybody is able to make a video at the drop of a hat. Yeah. And it changes your entire life, and it's scary. Yeah. But I think that having a platform like many of the other, veterinary influencers do is important. Yeah. And it's also very scary. Yeah. There's a lot of hospitals who are totally fine showing their doctors that work there. Yeah. And there's a lot of people who are veterinarians saying, hey, I work at this hospital. This is my hospital. This is great. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. I'm afraid of that sometimes. Yeah. It's like, unfortunately, people are crazy. Like, the people are willing to do a lot of scary things. Yeah. And so, I don't know. It's a lot to think about every time you post.
It is. So does this add an extra sense of like responsibility?
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
what you're doing? Like, it's not just fun. You're not like out there just creating videos for entertainment. There's like a sense of responsibility to your profession or to the public.
Both. I think that, I'm human. I've made stupid videos that I shouldn't have made, and I've made videos I should not have been a part of. And I have dealt with that and learned from that and grown from that. Yeah. And then there's also videos where I'm like, personally for me, I don't ever say on social media where I go to school. Yeah. It's just I don't make a video saying, oh, hey, I go here. Just say I go to school in California. Yeah. You guys can figure it out if you want to, Yeah. And for me, that is my way of being like, all right, well, there's a 50-50 shot. It's like, whatever. Yeah. But also, if I'm going to say a controversial thing, which is never anything crazy, but I always preface what I say. And I always preface saying, this is my opinion. This is not reflecting anything of any schools I go to, any hospitals I have worked for or will work for. But I think that it adds an extra layer when you have to think about everything you're posting and how somebody else is going to react to it. Mm-hmm. And it's not just a happy-go-lucky video all the time. There are times when videos are not funny, they're hurtful, or people interpret it a different way than you did, or hey, this video may not jive with this crowd. And it's, I don't know, I think VetMed has a very interesting sense of humor sometimes that other folks don't work in VetMed. Mm-hmm. And then there's sometimes when that humor crosses a major line and you're like, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
So. And you can't necessarily predict
of course
when
not.
This line is going to be crossed. And the fact that you say, like, I've made videos that maybe I wouldn't have made had I known.
Absolutely not,
and to still be doing this and be here and be confident, that takes, like, some strength and, some, like, humility and self-awareness to look back and go, maybe that wasn't the best thing, and I'm going to do better next time.
And I think, that's all you can do, right? You can make your apologies, you can do all that, but until you do actual growth and learn from it and, take a second to reflect, I don't know. I think everybody needs a little humility every now and then.
Totally.
So it's good. It's not a bad thing.
Well, I'm excited to see where all of this stuff goes.
I appreciate you.
I'm excited to see your professional journey and your social journey, because that's how we got connected. Yes. What are you excited about? Like, what are you looking forward to? You have so much ahead of you. I'm so excited for you.
I think the next 2 years are going to be an amazing ride for myself, and I'm very excited for the growth that I know that I will have. Yeah. For me, when I got into Western, it was always like, all right, let me just get through these 2 years, and then I'm good. Yeah. Because this is the clinic setting is where I thrive, because it's where I'm comfortable. It's where I feel safe. Yep. I'm not a bookworm. I don't want to sit here and read any more books. I'm done with Millers. I'm done. I just don't want to do it anymore.
How many decades have people been saying I'm done with Millers?
God, get it out of here. And plums, I don't want to ever. I don't want to do it anymore.
I feel your pain.
So being able to be in a clinic, I'm so happy to be back. And being able to meet new people and network is also fantastic. Yeah. I love going to the conferences, so I'll be at VMX and WVC. Got to take some time off of school every now and then, right?
Right. So, I know. I don't know how I'm like, I did not do that when I was a student.
Request off. It's a great button now. It's real great. It's so fantastic. Good. But yeah, I really think that I am going to see myself kind of become molded into the doctor that I want to be in these next 2 years, and I'm super excited for that. Like, I think that it's becoming more and more real, because I'm not taking an exam every 2 weeks. I'm not studying every weekend. I'm doing surgery on live patients.
Yeah.
And they're going home, and I'm never going to see them again, so it needs to be a good surgery.
Isn't that crazy?
It's horrifying and exciting and everything all at once.
All the things.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
I'm so excited for you. I mean, really, like, I love working with vet students and early career vets and just like seeing that excitement and remembering how I felt when I was excited. And I feel like very genuinely and deeply that this is the best profession and that it draws in really remarkable people.
It really does.
Doesn't it?
It is amazing how many awesome people are in this industry.
Yeah, I put our profession up on a pedestal.
All the time.
I love everybody that I have met. And when I was in the clinic and surrounded by the four walls of the veterinary clinic for 20 years, I loved my team. I loved the pet parents. And now that I'm out here and meeting vet students and other people in our industry, I'm just constantly reminded of how amazing it is. And I'm super excited for you and all that you have ahead of you because it's a really amazing profession.
Excited.
And you're on this like fabulous trajectory and it's a really exciting
journey.
It's going
to be great. I could not be more excited.
Well, thank you for making me a part of it.
Of course.
And thank you for coming here today. I'm super excited to have you here. Thank you so much.